Hi, I'm Mark McVeigh, and our assignment this week was really to take a look at um, some historical newspaper databases, and I was able to do that. If you look at the picture on the to the left of the screen there, there's a book called Our Naval War with Spain um, that I've had for years, and I'm kind of an old book collector, but it actually is a collection of newspaper accounts and things that have to do with the Spanish American War, a lot of it having to do with why the war started and things like that. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. And of course, there's a lot of great information on the Spanish American War, especially in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Baltimore Sun, which is what you mainly see in this database. Um, and really, what I found is although there are some articles out there, and I did uncover a few that suggested that the battleship Maine sinking was an accident, maybe a boiler had blown up or something like that. But the majority of the articles that were front page news, especially or closer to front page or large headline news, suggested that Spain had potentially blown up the Maine intentionally. Um, and then there are articles where one of them said, "Oh, the crew saw the Spanish as the perpetrators and refused their help when a Spanish steamship came over and tried to rescue some of the Americans there." But one thing I thought that was very interesting was just how this was portrayed. First of all, it was portrayed in a lot of the newspapers like we did not want this war. The Americans did not want to go to war. However, we really didn't have a choice. And a lot of times, like the Reverend John Scudder, I think around April 12th, wrote, at long last, we've reached a period where we can endure the strain no longer. Um, the instincts of humanity bid us to intervene on behalf of a long suffering people. And there he's talking about the Cubans. And it's just there are a lot of articles that all of a sudden came out that talked about how Spain had been vicious in their colonial efforts and how they'd even going all the way back to Magellan and Cortez, how they had a history of mistreating native peoples. Not bringing up anything about how the United States treated Indian tribes or anything like that. There were also all sorts of articles about how people were ready to go and help the United States. And there's an article that says 10,000 Croats, many former Austrian and Russian soldiers living in the Allegheny County and working as um, you know coal or coke workers or iron handlers, pledged that they were ready to form a brigade and go and fight in Cuba to free the Cubans, which is just interesting. It was all of a sudden very patriotic, and there's just some really good articles in there that I thought were good, and most of them talk about how Spain was readying itself for war, how Spain would refuse to pay any reparations or indemnities for the Maine sinking, and also lots of articles on how they were mistreating Cubans, and even some articles on how they were getting funded by Mexico and some South American countries to battle us, which I don't believe were true, but it was interesting that there were kind of rumors in the New York Times and the Washington Post about that. So I thought it was just a really good exercise this week. I found a lot of articles in there. I think I have more citations than I talked about, but was able to do a lot of research there. And then finally, one of the legacies of this war is it kind of ended sectionalism a little bit, or made it was one of the things that really brought the United States back together after the Civil War. So, justified or not, it did serve some um, it did have a positive impact on the United States in that way. So, thank you very much.